Sure, but I don't
yeah.
feel like the people that like Hades are the same people that are going to want to sit in a game with 32 of their favorite people.
They don't have to be your favorite people. They can be assholes. They can be...
Sure.
Alex, as you're probably aware, this is the time of year where all the game studios come out and they start talking about their showcases, new products that are coming out for the coming year. We've had them from Sony and Ubisoft, and pretty much all the companies have been coming out and, telling us about the new stuff.
Yeah, all the companies, Microsoft and Sony and Ubisoft.
Yes.
That's all of them. No other companies are existing, so it's fine.
I can't remember any of the others off the top of my head. Well, there was a Summer Game Fest. There was really one that I actually sat down and watched from start to finish. And that was the Microsoft Showcase, the Xbox Game Showcase for 2023. And I'm kind of glad that it's the one that I chose to watch, because it really was one of the better showings, I think, that they've had this year, that Xbox has had, but out of all the conferences, I think it was really, really strong, which they needed, because last year was fairly pathetic, and but they needed to have a win, as a lot of people said, and I think that they did. And there's a lot of things that I could go over. Cyberpunk 2077, there's new DLC coming out, which I have actually heard, side note, not just that the new DLC is coming out, but in that, CD Projekt Red has done a ton of tweaks to things like the AI to make the enemies far more intelligent, and that's actually also part of the base game, so it's not just the DLC, it's changes to the actual base game that they're actually making. We also got more information about... obviously some of the new reboots and stuff. Payday 3 is going to be coming out, so goody for you, everyone who likes that. Microsoft Flight Simulator and the new City Skylines. One that I was surprised by, even though I'm not going to play it still, is Sea of Thieves is going to do a Legend of Monkey Island expansion.
Oh, okay.
I was like, that's kind of awesome. I love that. And Guybrush Threepwood, as the old man huddled away in a hermit cave, and LeChuck comes in and everything. And it's like, okay, that's awesome. I still am not playing Sea of Thieves, but I love that as a concept. That's great. But I think what I was really impressed by, and the thing I wanted to actually focus on, is the amount of new IPs that are coming out from existing studios, and the ones that they all wanted to cite. Fable is a remake, obviously, although I'm excited about that.
They're remaking Fable?
They're remaking Fable.
Or are they remastering it? Or
no, this is a brand new game. This is a brand new game.
Oh, so they're pulling a God of War.
Exactly. They are pulling a God of War. Fable is being done by Playground Games. They're pretty well known for the Horizon series, the Forza Horizon series. So this is a little bit of a departure. It's been in
Fable's not really a car driving game, but I guess it's fine.
No, it's a departure for them. It's definitely different, although I think if they're trying to do some of those open world elements possibly in this, it makes sense, because that's also what Horizon was.
So why don't they just give it to Ubisoft?
Why don't they just give it to Ubisoft? Well, because Ubisoft isn't actually their development house.
Oh, I guess that's fair.
Neither here nor there. I think that what was interesting is that they had a lot of brand new IPs that they were coming out with, and I wanted to take a moment to talk a little bit about those. One of the early ones that they had was one called South of Midnight, which is a really interesting, stylistic piece that's set in what looks like the bayou in the south, with some of the more spiritual elements, like of characters from voodoo and mythology of that sort, and coming from Compulsion Games. Compulsion did We Happy Few, and they did Contrast before that. What I found really neat is that I'm going to tell you about a few different games. And they're all coming from these studios that I think people already have a pretty good idea of their products. And what they did very smartly is, before they really even did anything of showing the game, they made it very clear who the studios were that were working on it. So even though they're new IPs, you're familiar with the company itself. And in South of Midnight, before you even see any of the characters on screen, Compulsion Games comes up across the side of like the boathouse as they're panning along. But that looked really interesting. 33 Immortals is going to be a game from Thunder Lotus, who are the ones that did Spiritfarer, and I'm always happy about that. But this one's like, it's like Hades. Remember Hades?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like Hades, but it's a 33-player co-op version of Hades.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Because don't you have 33 friends that want to do Hades?
So it's a boss rush? It's raid battles from Warcraft, but an ARPG?
It's a co-op action roguelike, and you can play with up to 33 players. That's
Do
why it's
you
called 33 Immortals.
Is it like Fall Guys?
No!
Is
No.
it like you do dungeons and you complete levels by killing monsters?
You would complete it by killing monsters, but I think if it's anything like a Hades, you keep going, like through level after level after level until like everybody dies.
So it's basically just like the people who would play World of Warcraft and just do dungeons and raids.
I think they're hoping that that's the kind of crew that they're going to get, but people who also liked Hades and like kind of like the punishing action roguelike sort of setup.
Sure, but I don't
yeah.
feel like the people that like Hades are the same people that are going to want to sit in a game with 32 of their favorite people.
They don't have to be your favorite people. They can be assholes. They can be
Sure, but 30 people requires teamwork.
Theoretically. I mean,
and
I guess that's
strategy.
I guess that's going to be where the fun comes in, Alex, of seeing if 33 people can actually get on the same page of being cooperative.
I'm sure they can't. And unless it's ranked, then you're going to have people just trying to one-up everyone and not listening.
It's pretty great. Can't wait for that. I can't wait to see the Let's Plays. I like Thunder Lotus. Spiritfarer was a great game, and this has a wonderful visual style to it. I'm not big on, like, big co-op action stuff, so...
Yeah.
But I might try it out. 33 Immortal. A lot of these are coming, like, day one to Xbox Game Pass, by the way. Like, these are brand new releases. They'll probably be coming directly to Xbox Game Pass and in the next year or so. One of the big ones that they announced was, obviously from our friends at Obsidian, Avowed. Here's the question I guess I would pose to you. What if Obsidian made Elder Scrolls?
New Vegas, but not in the post-apocalypse?
Yeah. I guess it's actually set in the universe of the Pillars of Eternity series. So,
Okay.
So it does have a little bit of a standing lore that it's in. But it's going to be in first person, it's going to be like an action RPG, and it's coming from Obsidian. This is going to be 2024, and it looks good. Obviously, I'm a big Obsidian fan.
Yes.
Really love their work, and love their writing.
You should just try to get someone from Obsidian on our show sometime, so you can fangirl over them.
Yeah, I'm going to fangirl freaking out. Oh.
Yes.
By the way, folks, I don't know if I've mentioned this. I really love Obsidian. Outer Worlds was great. I love New Vegas. Oh, also, they were the ones that did KOTOR 2 Sith Lords. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that, Al? Okay.
I think I did.
Okay.
What else did they do, Nathan?
What else did they do? Oh, didn't they do Tyrant? I want to say that or Tyranny. Sorry, Tyranny. I haven't gotten a chance to play Tyranny yet.
Oh, I have that.
I have it too. I just haven't gotten a chance to play it yet.
Well, you need to get... Anyways.
They also made Grounded.
They did.
They made Grounded.
I was thinking of Snowblind, who did Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2.
Oh. Yeah.
But, you know,
I
don't think they're around.
No,
Anyways.
I think that they're gone.
Black Isle Games.
Black Eye, yeah. Well, so much of Black Isle, not to get too off topic, but so much of the people that worked on Black Isle games ended up like working with Obsidian. So
There you go.
Like there was another game coming out. There's so many games called Jusant. I think I'm saying that right, from Don't Nod. Don't Nod is an interesting company because they usually make those narrative games, the Life is Stranges and those kind of things.
Yep.
This is not. This has narrative elements, but it's actually mostly focused on this kid, and he's got this little blobby thing in his backpack, and it's a lot of mountain climbing.
Okay.
And you go up to these summits and you talk to the people that are in there, so I guess there's some narrative elements.
So it's like a
Very
short
different.
hike?
It's like that, yeah, I suppose so. We got 5 seconds, basically, of a game called Still Wakes the Deep.
Is that like Dredge?
No, I think that this is going to be more of a horror game.
Okay.
It's coming from the Chinese Room. Dear Esther was one of the things that they made. But they're kind of well known for like the narrative games. And this looks like that, but it's also a horror game that's going to be like in first person, where you are like on an offshore oil rig that might be visited by some kind of almost Cthulhian horror, it kind of feels like.
First of all, Cthulhu is an ideal, not a monster.
Right.
Second of all, you remember when we talked about that really photorealistic body cam shooter game?
Yeah.
Graphics like that in an offshore oil rig horror game, please.
It doesn't have that level of realism, I don't think, from the body cam, but it is kind of like set as like a cosmic horror sort of inspired offshore oil rig where you're like all alone on this thing. And so, seems cool. Towerborn is going to be coming from the folks that made Banner Saga, so Stoic. Your whole civilization has been relegated to like this one windmill, and you have to like send crews out into the wilderness to battle the monsters that are continually surrounding this one last bastion of civilization that you've built.
Okay. So it's Frostpunk meets Darkest Dungeon.
I guess that's not a bad way of explaining it. Yeah,
Did you play Frostpunk?
Sadly, yes.
What do you mean sadly?
I didn't like Frostpunk.
Oh, I mean it was a decent game.
It was a decent game, but I got frustrated with it.
It's supposed to be frustrating.
Well, then they
maybe.
succeeded tremendously well.
It's supposed to be not city builder because you're not building a city. It is a survival game.
Right.
But with city building elements.
Right.
But they're more for survival. I thought it was decent, not worth like me playing multiple games of it. I did finish the main storyline though, and thought it was pretty well done. So
right. I think the thing that frustrated me is that even when I would plan this stuff out and like tried to work out like where I needed to focus on stuff, they just throw monkey wrenches into it continuously and just like totally screw up my entire plan. And I'm like, well, then why am I even making plans? What's the strategy here?
Yeah,
I
got plan ahead and then have backup plans.
You gotta apparently have backup plans, but it got very frustrating with me. It's like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna help the citizens and I'm gonna create comfort, and then they still rebel.
Yeah, well, you gotta make the children work so that you can afford to have all the coal you need to keep them warm, otherwise everybody dies.
This is true. Yeah, I could yeah, I mean, come on, child labor, yee. The last one, though, got everybody very, very excited, and I have to tell you that I am one of them. This is definitely one of the big ones that I'm going to be waiting on pins and needles for, and it's a game called Clockwork Revolution.
Okay.
Clockwork Revolution, Alex, is going to be a first-person RPG set in sort of like a cyberpunky kind of, or I should say a steampunky kind of world, and it's being done by In Exile. They're the ones who made the Wasteland series.
Oh, and you do like the Wasteland series. So
In Exile is an excellent game house. I have not seen them do like a first-person action game before, which is what this is. It looks fantastic. And I'm very, very excited. When people saw that, it was a world premiere. No one had seen this before. People were very, very excited to see this game, and it is definitely on a lot of people's radars now. And I totally understand that, because again, before they even showed anything, that's the great thing. Before they really showed much of the game itself, In Exile Entertainment shows up, and immediately I go, ooh! And then I see that it's not a Wasteland game, and I'm instantly intrigued, because, oh, it's not a Wasteland game, well then what are they making? And when they showed the world building that they're building for this, which looks kind of Bioshock inspired almost, you know, that kind of like neo-futurism sort of thing, or the old school kind of futurism.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff. So looking forward to that. But I was very impressed just by the amount of new IPs that they were showing off that were probably about 50% of the overall show, interspersed between sequels and reboots. Loved all of that. And then obviously Starfield, which is coming from Bethesda. I just really wanted to highlight the fact that there were so many new IPs that were coming out. Which is
always fun.
I'm always happy to see it, but I think that they did a very, very smart thing in that they were highlighting the new IPs that are from existing companies that they have, existing developers, that already have an established body of work. So people are on board for them because of the studio that's developing them, even though they're a new IP. Microsoft did a good showing. I don't know if any of them are going to be actually good when we play it, but if their goal was to make you excited and, you know, show a presentation of what we want the game to be, they definitely succeeded in that.
Well, that's good at least.
Yeah. I mean, they did what they needed to do in making people excited for the product that's coming.
They generated the hype. And unfortunately, in this day and age, hype is kind of everything. I don't know if any of that even appeals to you, or if any of that sounds interesting to you. Some of it, I'll have to check out some of the stuff.
If you watched the conference, or if you saw any games that were in any of these showcases that you liked, please let us know in the comments down below. Let me know if you're excited for any of them, and why I might need to be less or more excited about the ones that I seem to be citing here.
Yeah, tell Nathan to be less excited about Obsidian.
That's not possible, Alex. No one can make me less excited about Obsidian. I'm a stan for only a few companies. Obsidian's one of them.
There you go.
That not a lot of game dev houses that I have that kind of passion for, but Obsidian's one of them, because I really have never been disappointed by Obsidian.
There you go.
Even their games that just completely everyone forgets, like Alpha freaking Protocol. It's just like, I still liked Alpha Protocol.